Won't somebody think of the user? In today's video, we're going to go through exactly what Jeanswest did wrong from an SEO organic traffic viewpoint. And I also want to go through another clothing brand called Cue, who's been in the news recently as well, because I can see some similarities around that. I'll share the screen, but essentially we're going to go into non-branded keyword versus branded keywords and some technical optimizations that both brands could do to, well, Jeanswest could have done and Cue can do, they're still alive, to grow their SEO and become profitable for more efficient SEO traffic. Let's get into it. Jeanswest needed to do a lot better with their technical SEO, and they needed to focus more on blogs and articles that is genuinely helpful for the user. It comes down to a foundational pillar of truth, considering the user and the user experience. There's so much crossover between user experience and SEO. Genuine articles and blogs for genuine, real shoppers to help them reach a decision about whether to purchase from your brand or not. It might sound a bit woo-woo, and sure, it's not the exact and only reason why Jeanswest have gone out of business and Cue have recently been acquired, but it could be their advantage or it could be your advantage after watching this video. Whether it's Shein or Temu or any other of those big conglomerates, those big competitors, what Jeanswest did was they built more and more collections pages and they targeted commercial and transactional intent keywords, which in itself isn't a bad strategy, but all they were doing was filling the bottom of the funnel and not topping up with new audiences that were discovering their brand for the first time. There was no loyalty, there was no advocacy. They weren't being helpful, they just wanted you to buy more of their shit. Let's get into some of the main reasons where Jeanswest and also Cue Clothing are not generating new eyeballs through organic search and how you can avoid making the same mistakes. Won't somebody think of the user? Here's a couple of examples. So here's Jeanswest, as I mentioned. They're obviously gone under. Whilst it's unfortunate, a lot of people have lost some jobs and a lot of passionate people in retail. There are always lessons that we can learn. So let's have a look at what these lessons are from an SEO point of view now. Notwithstanding, there's a whole lot of different stuff going on with Jeanswest. It's obviously just not because of their SEO, but I think there were some things that they could have done a lot better, which may be symptomatic of a wider brand. But if we look at it purely from an SEO point of view, we can see here they've got a high domain ranking, they've got a lot of backlinks, a lot of keywords, which obviously traffic's gone up because of they've been in the news so much. But what stands out to me immediately is just ever since kind of we look at they're getting 150,000 people to their website Jan 2020, so before COVID, it then really crashed, and most of what we've seen was COVID spike traffic, not decline like those guys did, like Jeanswest did. So that's interesting in itself. Then they've had a bit of a comeback here, but then it's been downhill since. So where are the clues? What did they do? What could they have done better from a purely SEO viewpoint? Hopefully this gives you, you're looking at this from your own e-commerce store and say, well, how can we be better? So what the lessons are here, branded versus non-branded, super important. So you can see here they're getting more traffic from their branded than their non-branded. If we look at here, this gives us percentage. So 56% by branded, 43% non-branded. So that means that they're just not getting in front of enough people. Their branding is strong. They've got a lot of retail stores. They did have a lot of retail stores. Good footprint. People know the brand. Whether or not they choose to shop with them is another thing. But there are some things that they could have done on their website to help increase that non-branded search. And non-branded is kind of where SEO agencies like the one I run, that's where they're worth their weight in gold if they are actually increasing your non-branded. The branded stuff is all your branding, all your above the line, your sponsorships, your TVC, your billboards, anything kind of above the line, PR even included in that. The non-branded is pure organic search based on people looking for the type of products that you have, but not necessarily searching for anyone by brand. So Jeanswest would be women's jeans as an example. So I think that's really important. I'll go into another way to expand that non-branded search in a minute, but let's just have a look at a great example here is kind of the way their technical SEO was set up, right? So the URL slug here, we've got women jeans, then the H1 tag, if we look at this, women's jeans, women's clothing is their H1 tag for this collections page. It's just it's a bit sloppy. Women's clothing, well, it's not. It's women's jeans as an example. They've got a couple of H2s in there, which is okay, but they're not utilising the proper structure. The breadcrumbs could be a lot better as well. It doesn't give people a lot of kind of inspiration to search for their brand with the breadcrumbs. And then also, there's no reviews. There's just nothing about the page that really jumps off and makes me want to click on something and search for it. One of the things I did notice, and let's get to non-branded search, is just around their blogs, right? So a key component is to really keep your user front of mind. How do we do this? We want to become the authority on jeans, in this case, authority on women's jeans. What are the trends? What's happening well? What's selling well? Yeah, what are generally people looking for? Help them make a purchase. And there was just none of that. So if I look at the blogs here, there was a couple of blogs written in 2024. I think it goes to 2024, 2023. So there's just not enough content. So they skipped on a lot of content. They optimized for a lot of different collections pages, which is just a lot of buy now, buy now, buy now, buy now. There was no kind of full funnel approach or just helping the user. So I think that's one of the reasons why they didn't go that well from an SEO point of view. Another brand that's been in the market a lot is Cue. So I heard that they just recently got acquired, but it looks like they're another classic example of a brand that's not going that well, especially when you look at the online side of things. So hopefully that they can rectify that. But again, when you look at collections dresses here, women's dresses, the heading tag structure, the H1s, the H2, the FAQs, the internal links, the reviews, none of it is here. I can't see any breadcrumbs here at the moment. So they've got filters there, which I do like. But in terms of like the technical, buy women's dresses online, and then dresses, and it's pulling through how many dresses are available in the H1. It's sloppy, it's lazy, and they need to get this sorted. Otherwise, they could be in a little bit of trouble when it comes to at least the SEO component of it anyway. Again, there's nothing there. There's just nothing to encourage click-through. I don't mind the imagery, obviously, but there's no reviews. There's no anything that kind of makes me want to click. There's no sort of text to help. There's no internal links. There's no FAQs around the dresses. So again, another area of concern. I couldn't find any blogs on these guys' website as well. But if we look at their Ahrefs, if we look at some of their data as well, good domain rating, good amount of keywords and traffic, but the same thing, you'll notice the same thing here as you did with Jeanswest. That branded versus non-branded is killer, right? If you're not expanding your non-branded keyword search traffic, or you're attracting more non-branded than branded keywords, which is quite common for a lot of fashion e-commerce businesses because they are so keen to kind of stay away from the SEO copy. They want to make the collections pages look aesthetically pleasing, which is great, except when you go out of business. You need to try and find the balance between good SEO, which is actually good user experience as well, being informative, being educational, becoming the authority in that space, and then also keeping that aesthetic look. And there is a way to do that. So anyway, hopefully this provides some value and provides some keys. The takeaways are, really look at your non-branded search. How do you improve that? It's by writing really good articles. Articles are really keyword rich. They have a lot of different keywords. It targets a lot of the long tail keywords. The long tail keywords are actually better converting keywords, but because they're so long, it could be sort of 4 words or more. There's not as much search volume for that. So that's where blogs come into it, because you're including a lot of different kind of search phrases that smaller amounts of people are searching for, but they're highly intentional. They're much more specific and they're much more likely to convert. So the takeaways here, really look at your non-branded, really start to generate some articles and some blogs that is going to be helpful for the user, and make sure you've got the technical components of your SEO and your collections pages all sorted. You've got one primary H1 tag that tells Google what the priority of this page is. What do you want them to tell? What do you want to tell Google? The priority of this page is, which is usually in women's dresses or women's jeans or whatever it is. and yeah, and make sure that that's working as well. So that's all for now. I hope you enjoyed it. Give me a like, give me a subscribe. Love to hear your comments.